Get this. You can spend it on anything you want, tax-free, even higher earners. That's a huge lever, and right there you're getting subsidized or incentivized to save in the health savings account because Uncle Sam gives you a tax break. Hey, welcome back. This is John Convery. Michael and I are delighted to welcome you back to this edition of Retire Yesterday, Live Today here on YouTube and at our website, theeducatedwealthcenter.com. Great to be with you. We've been enjoying this time together in previous weeks, and I know last week we talked about the 5 or 10 tips. We got to the first 5, but I think Michael's really queued up the remaining 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 because we don't want to leave you disappointed.
Yes, we are going to get into the next set of the 5, or like you said, the 10 tips to help you retire in 2017. We are going to cover 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But before we get in this show, make sure you like it down below. Let your friends know because we want to make sure you thrive in retirement, not just survive each and every week. And it all starts with making sure that everybody knows about it because you got to be educated.
That's right.
And if you're not educated, you're not going to be able to take the first step towards retirement because you're not going to know what to do. So let's get into step number 6 because this is the second half of the show because many people don't even do this or they put it off to the last minute, and that is fill out their beneficiaries. I know Fernando deals with that very often in the offices.
Ouch. Fernando, our client service specialist, does an extraordinary job. We call him Bull. You can call him Bull too. The quick story behind that, his first day of work, I said, we got to, Fernando, it's a lovely name, but it's too many syllables. Fernando. I give you a one syllable nickname. How about Bull? He loved it so much the next day at our media center at the copier, I noticed he had cufflinks. I said, what are those? He goes, Mario, my fiance, loved the nickname, the moniker so much, she went out and got me these bull and bear cufflinks. Gotta love that. Gotta love the spirit of the kid, the heart of the guy. But yeah, the truth is, beneficiary designations. If you don't have a beneficiary or you have titled property like a deed to real estate, if you don't have a valid, authentic last will and testament, when you die, the state jurisdictional authority steps in. You don't want them to get involved in your estate settlement because it may not go down the way you think it should. If you simply designate a primary beneficiary, that person automatically will inherit that asset by operation of law, and it doesn't go into the court jurisdiction. No legal fees. Whoop! Sorry, attorneys, it's a great thing. But beyond that, it keeps your estate private. You also can name, though, contingent beneficiaries, and here's a fancy word for you, tertiary beneficiaries, third generation, to keep that money flowing down the bloodline to your children and grandchildren. So make sure, if you haven't done this on your 401k, your Roth or IRA, make sure, don't stop, don't even think about sleeping until you make sure you've designated your beneficiaries.
Yes, you got to make sure you handle that because you do not want the state handling who is going to get your estate at the end of the day. That is number 6. Let's get into number 7 because many people, depending on how you look at it, I know what you would say about this. It's always best to write the
You usually know what I'm going to say, Mike.
It's usually best to write this last check to the undertaker, but you want to make sure that you take care of number 7 and pay down your debts when you go into retirement.
Got to do that.
So you can truly live free and not have to worry about debt.
No doubt. Listen, there's certain other pundits out there like Rick Edelman. I know he talks about mortgage arbitrage, but I found, since I only work for retirees or folks in the red zone who are in 3 or 5 years of getting ready to hit the finish line, they're getting ready to retire, they really don't want to carry debt into retirement. It gives you peace of mind knowing you have a home paid off and your homestead is protected. God forbid you ever get into a financial debacle here in South Florida. So at the end of the day, paying down debt's a really good thing. A simple trick here, though, is get your amortization schedule from your lender. Let's say you have a mortgage with Wells Fargo. All you do is you call them and say, I'd like an amortization schedule for my loan. It'll show you each month what your payment will be, 360 payments over the life of a 30-year loan. If you simply not only pay your current mortgage payment and escrow this month, but you look forward to the principal payment the next month, depending on your interest rate, by paying the principal in a separate check for the next month's payment plus the current month's payment, guess what? You can shorten the length of the loan to as little as 7 or 8 years on a 30-year loan. That's smart planning. So if you're going to retire at 67 and you're 60, all we do is develop and collaborate on a game plan to knock out, boom, boom, that debt in 7 years.
Yes, you want to hit them with the 1-2 punch so you can knock out that debt, because the debtor is only the slave to the lender.
The borrower is servant to the lender, Mike.
Exactly. And you do not want to be a slave when it comes to going into retirement. You want to be able to have no fear and sleep well at night. Number 8, this is a great thing that went into effect, because step number 8, it really just affects the industry as a whole.
That's
because it doesn't affect you unless you know about it, and that is, you want to make sure you work with someone that is a fiduciary.
That's right.
That is a new rule that went into effect June 9th.
June 9th, yeah.
And it essentially means that your advisor has to do what's in your best interest, and the good thing about that is John is a fiduciary.
Yeah, that's true, folks. And at the end of the day, you got to know the difference between buying retail and transactional. You don't want to pay retail commissions or fees if you can eloquently avoid it. And buying institutional or wholesale through a fiduciary or an independent advisor. Now, the whole industry is in turmoil because it's been discombobulated because of these rule changes. And President Trump has said for every new regulation promulgated, he wants to make sure any agency rolls back too, because he wants to shrink big government into smaller government. We'll see how that all plays out. But at the end of the day, here's a very, very important thing. Ask your advisor, how are you compensated and how do you align your interests with my interests? Because you may be shocked at the answer to that. At the end of the day, the industry is constantly ebbing and flowing, but new innovations are always going to be just on the horizon. And we want to make sure you know the difference between transaction only, fiduciary, and what the different rights and responsibilities are to you as a consumer, because we just think you should know and have authentic transparency regardless of who you decide to do business with.
Yes, John is absolutely right. And one thing you need to know absolutely when it goes into retirement is step number 9, and that is, what are the fees in your retirement accounts? Because fees can absolutely cannibalize and eat up your retirement.
It's crazy. Tony Robbins writes a chapter in his book, Money Master the Game, a great national bestseller, which I do recommend. But in addition, here's just a simple example. I sit with people all the time. When you look at their portfolios and you cannot even see one nickel, not one centilla of a quarter in fees deducted on their monthly statement. That doesn't mean there aren't hidden or opaque fees. Get this. You can't even see on your brokerage statement. And under the current truth in advertising rules, guess what? They don't have to be disclosed anywhere else other than in a prospectus that you can get and read the fine print online. Or when people get them in paper, you know what they do, Mike? They circular file them, just like junk mail. So at the end of the day, just because somebody says, I'm not charging you a fee, doesn't mean there is no fee. There could be asset under management fees, 12B1, which is pay to play, transactions, the difference between the bid and the ask. There's expense ratios. I could go on. Let's just say this, that it's not uncommon for me to sit with somebody and help them discover the epiphany that they're paying 2 or 3% that they thought they never were paying because they couldn't see it. 2 to 3% on 500,000 is 10 to 15,000 a year. That could be up to 70% of your portfolio. It's a big deal. People say, well, John, I'm paying 1%. That's not a big deal. Guess what? You make 2% this year, 50% of your money goes to the house. You don't get a nickel of it, and they took no risk. You took all the risk. Market goes up, market goes down. Either way, they get paid. So at the end of the day, we like to educate folks. That's what we're doing here through this video here at Retire Yesterday, Live Today, and we're going to continue to bring it. Sometimes we talk about things that, the industry, Wall Street, the bobbleheads up there, the financial pundits would rather we stay quiet about, but we're going to be a voice of reason to try to educate you so you can thrive in retirement, not just survive.
Yes, and that is some great tips right there. John mentioned the book by Tony Robbins, Money Master the Game. We actually give those to a lot of our personal clients when they come on into our offices. Right. But for the first 5 people that actually like this video and then share it with their friends on Facebook.
Share it.
Like it and share it. Then come on over and just shoot us a message and say, I liked and shared. I will get in contact with you personally and send you the book. That is for the first 5 people that do so. You got to like it. You got to share it, then message us on Facebook, and I will get in contact personally and send that book on over to you so you can start reading about some of the hidden fees that you might be unaware of in your portfolio. And that, my friend, we will send directly on over to you.
And folks, that's a big deal. If Michael says he's going to call you, that's a big deal. He doesn't even pick up my phone calls. What is that all about? I'm your father. Luke, I am your father.
I am your father.
Well, listen, at the end of the day, Michael said it. We're going to hold him accountable. All our team at the Educated Wealth is going to hear this. Michael's calling you.
Yes, I will give you a call. We will get that book right on over to you, and we are going to go into the last tip. This is the 10th tip for 2017 when it goes to retiring, and that is to save more today, because many people will put off saving and think they can make up for it later on in retirement, but it is best to do it now instead of later on.
So important. The time value of money, compounding works tremendously in your favor over a long timeline. And so there are catch-up provisions that you can take advantage of. But at the end of the day, Michael's absolutely right. Let me give you an example how to subsidize your savings. Have you ever heard of a health savings account? Almost anyone can qualify to put up to $6,500 a year away, even if you've maxed your 401k plan with your employer. You should do that first. But if you put $6,500 in a health savings account, that's tax deductible. It grows tax-free. You can use it to pay for deductibles or unreimbursed medical expenses, such as the out-of-pocket to your orthopedic surgeon. But if you don't use it, and after age 65, get this, you can spend it on anything you want, tax-free, even higher earners. That's a huge lever, and right there you're getting subsidized or incentivized to save in the health savings account because Uncle Sam gives you a tax break. That's just, if you're in a 30% tax bracket, that's like getting your employer 30% match, because you'll never, ever pay the tax on the seed, even when you take the harvest. Take advantage of those things, folks. They're priceless.
Yes, take advantage. We are going to be here with you each and every Monday, and potentially one day in the future, every single day. You never know. We'll be back next Monday. This is Retire Yesterday, Live Today, the visual show. I'm going to let John close it out because he's going to hit you with a paraphrase that only he knows. Peace out.
That's exactly right, folks. Listen, great to be with you as always. I always like to end our show with basically the summary paraphrase of that old Irish prayer. And here it goes. May the wind always be gently at your back. May the sun shine warmly on your face. May the low road that you travel in the mist rise up to meet the high road. And until our paths meet again, my friend, God anoint you with good health, and may you be richly blessed. Have a magnificent weekend. Thanks for watching.